Radio.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Simpson, and this is RoadKill Radio.
And I'm Ron Gray. Welcome to RoadKill Radio.
Ron, we are back in the saddle, so to speak, on all the issues and events that are coming on. We've got lots of new information and programming coming up.
We have.
And some very exciting shows in the near future. I was privy just a few minutes ago to listen to the editorials that you so eloquently put out with such perspective that you do Canada a great service in giving that. And talking about one of my favorite people in one of your editorials, Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy. I mean, I don't agree with him on everything, but wow, what a voice for freedom.
Well, and you came in teasing us about his new book that you've now devoured and are reporting on.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
And you can look for some of those reports not only here on RoadKill Radio, but on the Citizens Express, a publication coming out once a week on CultureGuard. For those of you who are subscribers to CultureGuard, you'll get insight on some of the important issues that are happening here in Canada. You'll get perspectives, you'll get reports on issues that you probably might not see in mainstream media.
And unlike most things today, subscriptions are free.
Well, there you go. So go to the CultureGuard.com website, subscribe, and that will put you on the list. Now, Ron, we have been talking a lot about how to get things done here in Canada. We've been traveling around. We've been holding forums and workshops and training sessions. And I have to tell you about one that I was at just yesterday, and this was in Richmond. Oh. And I actually had kind of a giggle because it was in a warehouse. and as you know, and a lot of our viewers know, the challenges that we have faced in holding a lot of our town hall meetings and in our meetings and workshops is keeping them secret, the secret locations, so the haters don't come out and protest and cause grief and threaten people.
And cause public organizations to violate their contracts.
Yeah. So we've been having a lot of fun, a lot of workshops. I myself attended 3 different meetings just in this past week. We have community leaders coming out by the hundreds. We have concerned citizens, like yesterday, coming out by the hundreds. The momentum is amazing to see.
The response to those was even noted yesterday on Ezra Levant's show on The Rebel.
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
Yeah, they'd taken note of the fact that Sheila Gunn Reid was talking about the enormous response that has happened spontaneously. I mean, people are outraged by what's going on in the schools.
Yeah, enough is enough. And to turn Canada and say we're not a tolerant nation and to abuse our tolerance by putting in a political agenda that uses children, people are saying enough is enough is. But, you know, we are still having some challenges within the public education system because look what just happened recently to Barry Neufeld. Of course, everybody knows Barry Neufeld. He has obtained a certain degree of notoriety for
25 years as a school trustee, faithfully doing his job.
Yep.
And suddenly, over one Facebook account,
and a strong position.
He's doing what he's paid as a trustee, what he's elected as a trustee to do. And could you tell me, please, by what right does a janitors union oppose a trustee for doing what he was elected to do?
Okay, so let's just recap here for those of you who are not up on the Barry Neufeld story. First of all, this is what happens when you come to one of our town hall meetings. You get informed. And that was Barry Neufeld's first introduction into what was going on with SOGI 123, a curriculum that is being used in the schools and is moving across Canada. He came as a trustee to get informed that he's doing his job, and informed he did get, and then he did more research. And as a trustee, he became very, very concerned about the political abuse of what was taking place through SOGI 123 in the education system. And he put a Facebook page out clearly stating his position that this was not acceptable in the Chilliwack School District. And predictably, anyone who ever confronts the narrative involving sex activism or the activist community within the LGBT community for those of us that are tried and true warriors, all hell literally breaks loose, for lack of better description.
And you note that they don't come out with any kind of countervailing facts. What
No.
they come out with was this entirely unoriginal thing of, hey, hey, ho, ho, fill in the blanks has got to go. I mean,
Yeah.
is that an argument?
Oh, and haters without specifically saying what it is, and all the typical nasty, vile rhetoric. Okay, so this is now escalated to a point because of the amount of support for Barry Neufeld. And I should tell you, support is at a huge high in Chilliwack. People, that man is going to get elected back in. This will not do for the unions, who are very much behind this political abuse of the public education system. So CUPE has now filed a human rights complaint against Barry Neufeld for making the schools in Chilliwack unsafe for their employees. Okay.
So how does this threaten a janitor to say, well, we shouldn't
This is a bad program.
we shouldn't be doing child abuse?
I know. So we have some problems with the janitors, apparently, that need a little fixing. So now the most recent event is that the BC School Trustees Association, of which the Chilliwack School Board pays $60,000 a year to belong to, was holding a meeting in Maple Ridge, and Barry announced that he'd be going. So they canceled the whole meeting because it wasn't going to be safe.
It's ludicrous.
It has gotten to the point. If these are the people that are engaging our young people, I don't want you anywhere near them, guys, because you are wimps. You are anything but leaders.
And dishonest.
Totally. Yeah. And you are not to be trusted. You are making the schools unsafe.
Exactly right.
So the saga continues. Barry is standing strong. We will be holding another rally in Chilliwack, Abbotsford area. I think we're going to have to move to Abbotsford because the response has been so great that we don't have a venue big enough in Chilliwack. So we're going to be holding it in Abbotsford, and we're looking forward to that event, which should be a very clear message to the sex activists that you are not going to win this one. SOGI is going to be destroyed and crushed. So on top of that, we've had some exciting times. We've had the Liberal leadership race is now over here in BC, and I want to talk about two aspects of this, Ron, because one of the things, the movements that have come out of CultureGuard taking a position on SOGI 1, 2, 3, is the amount of people who have flocked to us saying, okay, we need to do something. If this was allowed to even get in a foothold in our system, something's terribly wrong here.
And we need to remember that it was the Liberals,
The BC Liberals,
who had a one-day meeting in midsummer when the legislature normally doesn't sit. It was unpublicized, it went unreported, but that was where they smuggled in gender identity and gender expression into the Human Rights Code, and that's what they say compelled all the schools to adopt the SOGI program.
which is nonsense on the whole scheme of things, and we'll be doing an insight into whether or not that was really necessary, because transgender protection has been in law since I think 1996, and it came in under sex. Okay, so the whole thing was just a farce.
Well, and what is really threatened is the definition of gender. What they're doing is taking an unproved gender theory.
It's not even a theory. It's just...
No, a woman from UC at Berkeley proposed this new gender theory, and it has very little support, but it's been adopted by the radical left, and they're pushing it on our children as though it were a fact.
Yeah, I even have a hard time giving it credit as being a theory. What was she smoking? What are they all still smoking?
She was at Berkeley,
That explains a lot. It's the air there. I think we're at a point now, Ron. The good news is that things have become so wonky from the left that those of us, and I don't even want to go right left, with any kind of common sense and ability to think, understands that there's been a hijacking of our consciousness that shouldn't be allowed, and it's time to take it back. And that's what's happening. So what's happening now, in addition to all these people coming together to fight the Soji agenda, people are looking at other areas. The current prime minister that we have, of course, is opening up a lot of discussion, debate, and anger with regard to some of the policies that are coming in place. So the cool thing that's happening now is we have a campaign. And as I've spoken to Canadians increasingly across this country, people are going, we have to do something different. We have to cut the funds. We have to look at what's happening. And there has to be some key election issues that we stand on. And if these political parties, for instance, don't support parental rights as one of their top issue, they don't get a vote. I don't care how good all their other policies are. I don't care whether they're going to turn this nation into gold. If they are not protecting the family and parental rights, it's a no vote. It's a no-go. So we've put together what's called, and I love this campaign name, 300k for 300,000 Canadians.ca. There's going to be so much information coming to you, and people are excited. They are coming on board. $10 a month. You contribute to this campaign, and we are going to rock this nation and bring it back to restoring Canada to what it should be. It's about respecting and protecting all citizens, not special interest groups, not radicals who want to deconstruct our civil society and what has made Canada great. So I am excited about this.
You know, Ken Davis, a very respected historian who used to teach at Trinity Western University, did a paper back in the 80s called The 4% Solution. He said, if you look back in history, the number of Americans in the 13 colonies that managed to organize and stage the American Revolution was initially only 4% of the population. But 4% of the people, says Ken Davis, properly equipped and trained, can change the world.
Well, I'm hoping we turn into the 1.9 million on this campaign, and the way it's going, I'm thinking we might get there. Now, we started off with the Liberal leadership. Andrew Wilkinson has come in as the leader. I want to tell people, as a result of our campaign and what 300k.ca is about, is creating disruption within our electoral process at this point. Hopefully they'll certainly learn that they should listen to us if they really want to have power. And I think the BC Liberals better start listening very closely. We put all of our vote against another candidate for the Liberal leadership, somebody who was relatively unknown. And we did that not because we wanted to win, but we wanted to show what disruption and a disrupting force can be and the effects that it can have. And I think we were quite successful. Let's face it, Diane Watts was, to be crowned queen, and we disrupted that. And we're very pleased. We disrupted the last provincial election, and that was before we were very well organized. We are organized now. As a matter of fact, I just had a meeting with the BC Conservative Party, and I was very clear with them, saying, we are going to put all our efforts into every political party. We're not going to play favoritism, Ron. Every political party should have the family and parental rights as their top concern. Everybody should have protecting and respecting our nation, judicial accountability, social responsibility. Those should be the pillars of every single political party. And if you don't have them, first and foremost, you don't even get a look. You don't get a check mark. You get no X. You don't even qualify for the ballot. Sure, go ahead, put your name on there. Not going to happen for you.
This is positive disruption.
Totally.
It's ordinary common sense citizens countering the negative disruption that has become the order in our political processes. The two Trudeaus were not really liberals. They were Marxists who took over the Liberal Party federally. Mike Bernier and Christy Clark, they were not true liberals. They took over the provincial Liberal Party, and as Rod Taylor says, they stole the NDP playbook. So
Well,
now what we've been offered is nothing but radical socialism. We need an option.
well, and my liberalism is quite offended by all of this.
True liberalism.
True
is,
liberalism,
that's right,
and so
yeah.
we should be.
Yeah.
So lots of good things happening, and I just want to throw up one picture because this is kind of the fun things that we have at headquarters here. We can't tell you where it is, but this is the group of volunteers that meet 2 and 3 times a week to get all the stuff that we're doing. And for security reasons, we cannot identify them, as you will see in this picture. Okay, so the other part about this 300k.ca is it's a good group of people. These are fun people. These are hardworking Canadians that believe in those pillars of family, freedom, liberty, judicial accountability, and social responsibility, which I know in a few shows to come we are going to be spending a lot of time and energy on. Because
Kind of reminds you of Star Wars, the rebels coming out from secret bunkers to overthrow the evil empire.
It is almost like that, Ron. I did have this little giggle yesterday as we're sitting in this warehouse. Really cool warehouse, by the way. They've got coffee bar there. They've got a lounge happening. This is a cool warehouse. Can't tell you where it is, but the 100+ that showed up, they all knew how to get there. But I thought, in supposedly Canada, this kind, respectful nation that we all like to think, of as being Canadians is, and here people, good, hardworking people, are having to meet in secret locations so they can find out what's going on in their children's classroom. Something wrong with that picture, people.
Hey, we're still polite and civilized, but we will not be abused.
There is that. We do have limits. So we have lots on the go, lots coming up, and we are excited to have RoadKill Radio back. Some of the new shows are going to be targeting parents. Probably one of my most favorite projects that has recently come before my desk now and has been given the green light to go. And this is going to be dynamic moms coming together, moms and grandmas and moms maybe to be and single women, talking about the issues that are affecting our culture. Because regardless of your position on SOGI 123 or whether you have kids in school or not, this is about cultural change. And we have a right to speak into that. We have a right to know about it. And we have a right to determine what the identity of this nation is going to be.
I want to quote a line from your lips when we were planning some of these things. The voice of those who will not submit.
Yes.
That's what we're building.
We are going to be victorious in that, and we will not be the voice of submission.
Amen.
We will not be the voice of defeat, because that silence is not on our agenda, right? Silence is the voice of submission. I would have a hard time being silent. Thanks, everybody. This is RoadKill Radio.
Don't be silent.